Welcome to the Nonprofit Solutions Matter daily radio show, where we tackle the tough issues that keep founders up at night and answer your questions on everything from fundraising and board recruitment to marketing and resource development. If you're looking to start a nonprofit, raise money, organize your board, reactivate your organization, or chat about your mission, text the number on the screen to book a free call. We're happy to provide clarity and connect you with the resources and tools to help you move forward. Now, let's jump into today's program. Stay tuned as our Vice President dissects today's topic. Feel free to ask questions by dropping your comment below. Let's get started.
Welcome. It's good to have you here today. Wherever you're connecting from, please comment below, say hello. I want to know you're following. Today, we're going to be talking about how to re-engage disconnected board members. Basically, how can you reactivate dormant board members? We've had, this question from founders, from CEOs, from board chairs over and over again. Really trying to understand how can they get these group of resources that have gone dormant, how can they get them active again so they can begin to support the organization? The truth is, a good number of these board members, when they connected with your mission, they shared your passion, they shared your vision, and that was why they came on your board, except in situations where people bring in friends and family. But in many occasions, the people you bring into your board, they share your vision, and they are a valuable resource. I've seen founders talk about these board members who are dormant and be like, I need them to go. I need to bring in new set of people. The truth is, well, in some occasions, you need to bring new set of people. But in most occasions, the board members you have are a huge source of opportunity you are yet to tap into. They are also people who can support you if you know how to engage them. I'll tell you the truth. The reason why many board members are dormant is because of the way they were recruited into the organization in the first place. They didn't go through the standard recruitment process that was supposed to ensure that they were committed. Secondly, they got into an organization that's not entirely organized, so there's no board engagement process to ensure that they are committed. There's no accountability process to hold them accountable. So regardless of how passionate these people are, or regardless of how determined they were at the beginning, you always find that in no time they begin to dwindle, in no time they begin to disconnect, because there's no process, there's no system to keep them engaged and connected. So really, that's the problem. It's not really a situation where the board member is incompetent. Though, like I said, in situations where you bring in family and friends, in situations like that, the board members are really incompetent because you brought these guys in as placeholders just to get your organization incorporated and going. Or, you just know, of course, they are incompetent. Fine. Go look for someone else. Go find a new board member to bring in who share your vision and who can support you. But when you know these board members, they still have something in them, they are still skilled, they still have their network, then of course you can still tap into these board members, you can still reactivate them into your organization, you can still re-engage them so that you don't lose out on that opportunity. And I always tell founders, the board members who is already in your organization today is 10 times more valuable than the board member who's out there, except they are entirely incompetent. You know why? Because a board member who already understands your mission, understands your vision, has been in the system, is like a warm lead. You don't have to go about, redeveloping them, getting them aligned and all that. When you bring in a new board member, it's always an investment because you have to onboard them, have to get them up to speed, have to support them so that they can start running. But with that, your old board members is really easier because you've already built that relationship. So this is why we think it is important that you can reactivate these board members. You can re-engage them and bring them in so that you can tap into that resource Tap into that passion. These board members can provide the organization to help you reach your mission. So then, how do you re-engage and get these board members reconnected? First, I'll tell you, if you don't have a standard board recruitment, board engagement, and board accountability process, before you take any step, please go have these in place. Because even when you reactivate these board members and re-engage them back in, without these processes in place, you find that in a few months, they may end up going back to where they came from. So first and foremost, please go back into your organization and set up standard processes, both for your board recruitment, for your board engagement, and for your board accountability processes. Once you've done that, the next step is to have a open conversation. Call each board member, each disconnected board member, and have an open conversation. The conversation could go this way: hello, how you doing? Has things been with you so far? Just give them a feedback of how the organization has been going, and then ask them, are they still interested in supporting the organization? Do they still feel connected to the mission? Just have that open conversation where they can open up to you to tell you, I still feel connected. I still feel we can be able to do something, or this isn't really a priority for me right now. This isn't really something I want to be doing right now. Have that conversation, open, honest conversation. Once you have the open, honest conversation and you find out that they are still interested, the next step is to invite them in for a planning session. I think the planning session is the real strategy here, because the goal is to be able to bring them all on a round table to say, let's refocus on the organization. Let's look into the organization. And it's not really the languaging of saying, let's look into the organization. If you're inviting them in for that planning session, I'll advise you. We have a specific languaging we use when we invite them in for that planning session. It's usually a languaging around, we're looking to put together a plan for 2025 on the activities and programs we are going to be executing. We would love to have you come share your views, your voice on these programs, and recommend programs we could all execute together. So it's really like inviting them to come share their views, to come put their ideas into the organization, to come determine the future of the organization. A lot of people would take that bait. So your board members will always take that bait. Why you're inviting them in for planning is this: people who plan together, like I always say, execute together. So bringing them in to plan is like getting them to refocus on the organization. And that process of planning, trying to recommend ideas, criticize the programs, that process is a process that's going to get them to refocus, get their whole attention on the organization. And we've seen that this process remotivates these board members. It gets them in tune back to the vision or the passion that they once started with. So having them come together and plan is the very first step in re-engaging them and reactivating these board members back into the organization. So this is key. Bring them into plan. I would have said plan from the very beginning, but of course, you first of all have to put up the processes that will ensure that when they come in, they are engaged. Once you have that process in place, you can now move on to make sure that you have an open and honest conversation. Once you have that open and honest conversation, you can now invite them in for a board planning meeting, or a work planning meeting, or a strategic planning meeting, or a strategic planning retreat, whatever you have to call it. But it has to be a planning session where they share their ideas, share their views towards the future of the organization. Once you've been able to get them to share their ideas and share their views, the next step is to create an action plan with them and delegate responsibilities. So once you all have planned, how do we execute forward? This is the step-by-step process to execute forward. This is what we have to do. Now, who can take on this responsibility? Who can take on this responsibility? So it is very important to delegate responsibilities immediately after planning. That's like the secret sauce. Delegating responsibility sets the expectations. It gives them something to do. It gives them something to connect to the organization. And once you've been able to delegate responsibility, the next step is to follow up with your accountability processes. So let's say, for example, if a board member is supposed to help with a particular task, you should have an accountability process that makes sure that they follow up on that task and they also report back while you're also following up to checking on the success, evaluating what they've done and how they can do better. There has to be that accountability process in place, because if you leave them at the point of delegation, some may take on the task and then, in time you may not find them again. But when you keep following up, when there's that accountability process in place, of course, people tend to do what they are supposed to do. So leaving your board members idle, leaving them without nothing to do, leaving them without a process to connect them within the organization is a huge limitation on your vision. Because when these board members are dormant, when they are disconnected, you're missing out on a lot of support and value that can transform your vision. So it's really about you bringing these guys back together to say, let's relook into the organization, ensuring you have the necessary processes in place that's going to keep them engaged, keep them accountable, and then having them all come into plan, having that open and honest conversation where they assure you that they still want to be on the board, they still want to support the organization, and then planning with them, delegating responsibilities, creating an accountability system, and then supporting them to execute. Really, this is how you get board members to really support your mission. Humans are really very can I say fragile in a way. If you know how to handle them, it's very easy to get them to work with you. But if you don't know how to handle them, you're of course going to lose them. So I hope you've been able to learn something today. If you have any question, send us a message, drop your questions below. If you want to schedule a free call with us, we'll be happy to talk to you. We'll be happy to provide you feedback on what to do to transform your organization. I'm going to be dropping the link for the free call on the comment section. Just simply pick a time, send us a message, and of course, we'll be happy to talk to you. All right, let me put in the link in the comment section so you all can get access to that. All right, just put the link. Schedule a free call with us. I'll be happy to talk to you. We'll be happy to help you forward.
Thank you for tuning in to the Nonprofit Solutions Matter Daily radio show. We hope today's insights have been valuable in helping you tackle the challenges and opportunities within the nonprofit sector. We're here to support you in starting, raising funds for, and growing your nonprofit. If you have any questions or need further assistance, don't hesitate to reach out. You can send us an email to book a free discovery call, or simply comment below, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. We look forward to hearing from you and helping your organization thrive. Until next time, keep making